Well, it does seem that Prince Harry has thrown all his toys out the pram after this Charity Commission ruling. I mean, he'd already left his charity, Sentebale. I think they were probably expecting a result that would probably damn the current person who's in charge, the person he's fallen out with, this Zimbabwean lawyer who has actually been, basically accusing Harry of being rather toxic for the brand, and saying that since he left the royal family that it led to financial problems really for the charity. The profits went down, and that he was best that he wasn't there. Essentially, obviously, he had a fallout with her. A lot of the other trustees resigned as well, and then we've been waiting for this result from the Charity Commission, which is pretty damning. But on all sides. But it doesn't call for for her removal, and it sort of suggests that Harry has sort of flounced out a bit too early, really. One would have thought that, given if you look at some of the charities that his family have been involved in, the Prince's Trust, now the King's Trust, that had a difficult start, but the Prince, as he was, Charles, fought hard to keep that charity going and built it to what it is today, his legacy, really. Prince Philip did the same with the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme and the World Wildlife Fund. These things take time, and obviously now this has not really been very successful for Harry. He's now going to walk away from a charity that he was very passionate about, a charity that he established in his mother's name. I mean, Sentebale means it means forget-me-not. It's Diana's favourite flower. So, look, I think it's very sad that it's happened like this for him, because I remember when he first went out there to Lesotho, and he was quite a young guy. In 2006, he started the charity. In 2004, he first went there during his gap year before going to the army, and he really did have a passion for it. So, and I was there, I watched him do it. So I feel very sad for him, actually, that this has ended like this. He still has the Invictus Games, which is very successful, and hopefully he will stick with that. The trouble is, you get a bit of a reputation as somebody who doesn't stick with it. He's pulled out of Spotify deals. He's walked away, flounced away, really, from the royal family. It's not great. It's not a great look. And I think that, this was something that I think he could be proud of. It touched the lives of something like 100,000 young people in Lesotho and in Botswana, terribly poor places where AIDS has ravaged the population. And he was making a real difference to the education of these kids and to their lives, their lifestyles, their health. All of these things mattered. And now again, he's had to walk away from the seat at the table. I'm sure this should have been handled differently. I'm sure he should have been able to keep this under wraps and not let egos get in the way. And I suggest egos maybe have got in the way here a little bit, both on the side of the current person who's running it and Harry, who's the founder and set it up. There does seem to be a clash of personalities, and unfortunately, it's going to be probably because they're not going to have a royal, such a well-known leader, figurehead anymore. It's probably going to be the charity that suffers in terms of finances, and it's probably going to be the kids that ultimately lose out here. I think that Harry has made his bed. He's thrown all his toys out the pram. He made it very public. He couldn't work with this woman, and as a result, there was all sorts of leaked emails and a narrative being tried to be controlled here, which failed. I think that really he is clearly nailed his colours to the mast. He's pretty much said that he's not going to work with her and that he's walking away. He says he's going to continue doing the spin, working for people in Africa, and I'm sure he would like to do that. But he had the perfect vehicle, a vehicle that also had Diana's name closely linked to it, by him and Prince, because it was established in 2006 in Diana's memory, but also in the memory of Prince Seiso's mother. He must be feeling a little bit aggrieved as well about how it's all ended. My personal feeling is it should have been kept within closed doors. They should have been able to meet the challenges. They should have probably brought in an intermediary to deal with the problems that they were having at boardroom level, at trustee level, and resolve the matter behind closed doors to ensure that whatever happens, there's millions of pounds that was reaching very, very needy children with HIV, AIDS, children that were educationally having real problems, children that he deeply cared about Harry. And I think it's a waste. I think it's just an opportunity that's gone begging due to personalities. This does look like entitlement, really. You know, there's a lot of very rich people who are linked with charities. This is something he established and worked at as a young man. But since he left the royal family, I mean, beforehand it was working quite well. Since he left the royal family, took that decision to quit and go to Montecito, go to the other side of America, he's lost another thing that was very precious to him, and that's a shame.